right, what's up, good people? It's your boys, the Beards of War, back again. Got myself, Thick Nick Fury, FBR for President, Fat Broken Rambo,
What up?
Light
What
'em
up?
up, Scorched Earth, behind the scenes. Hey, hey, Captain Jack. All right, today, man, we got a good one for you guys, man. We got The Long Walk from Stephen King.
Mm.
Fantastic movie. We're gonna get into this. This is gonna be a Stephen King pretty much themed show. But before we get started, I want to give a real quick shout out. As you know, we like to shout out, people who are trying to start small businesses and who are friends to the show. So I want to shout out my close personal friend, Khadija Holly. She has a Instagram page, Seat at My Table, and what she does is she does events for people who want to throw parties. She does decor. So she even does the planning. So fellas, you want to, do a special birthday for your lady. You don't know how to get started. Seat at My Table on Instagram. We'll try to put the, link down on the page. And guys, show some support. She's really good at what she does. She's had a lot of accolades so far, just getting started. So check her out. Let them know the Thick Nick sent you. And with that being said, I think we should get into this. So,
Hell yeah.
like I said, man, The Long Walk, 2025. It's in theaters now. If you have not seen it, spoilers ahead. Feel free to pause us, come back after you've seen it, and then you can watch and see what we thought of it. But just to get it started, man, I mean, I thought this movie was pretty freaking good, man. The young actors, most of them, I would say, outside of maybe two of them, relatively unknowns. And I think they did a fantastic job. The premise of this movie is pretty deep. And for those of you who have read Stephen King novels, of course, you make that comparison. There are going to be some changes because it's like, well, if you make it exactly the way the book is, where's the surprise? Where's the, like, wow, why would I really watch it when I've already seen it? Or I've already read it. So since I have like the I can't really like read like I can't say I can't read like I used to, but I don't read like I used to, right? So it's just one of those. I'd rather just watch the movie, but I went with my girlfriend. She saw the movie. She read the book, so she knew the differences. And the ending she told me was actually pretty good. So I would have liked to have seen that as well. But from what I've seen, just completely blind coming in, seeing it for the first time, I was impressed with this movie. And we're gonna go ahead and get it started. So what you got? What's up, Rambo?
Yeah, man. So The Long Walk. This has been a fan favorite of mine. I read this book back in like 2002 when I was in Afghanistan. Someone described it to me when I was over there, saying it was like the best description they'd ever heard or read about a road march. So that kind of piqued my interest. Plus, it was Stephen King writing under his pet name, Richard Bachman. This was his actual first book, and then he went on to release The Running Man. So maybe Stephen King can go 2-0 this year, man. I'm rooting for The Running Man to be a great flick. Huge fan of that book too. But this one, man, Luke Skywalker plays a son of a bitch in a dystopian future that kind of looks like it's set in the past. If you can follow me on that. Um, And basically, it sounds like it's an annual lottery where kids at the age of, or males at the age of 18 are selected. Back in the book, it's supposed to draw comparisons to the Vietnam draft. Um, in this setting, it kind of sticks with that timeline based on like the vehicles and the dress and everything else like that. Not to mention the age of the equipment the military carries. So Mark Hamill plays the dystopian leader. That this is the only like leader that we actually see of the entire government, and he's just only referred to as the major. Always wears his sunglasses, so you kind of you don't get to see the person behind all the commands. He's eccentric. He's rooting for the boys to do their best. Kind of like serves as like a father figure in the very beginning of the race, but basically says that hey, you have to walk count of 4 miles an hour, which is infantry standards. Um, And then you also have to you can't stop moving. You can get up to 3 warnings, I think it is. Each warning, as you walk off, you walk an hour clean with no errors. The error gets wiped away. So you get three strikes, and then they punch your ticket, as they call it in the movie. And by punching their ticket, they mean putting an M16A2 to your head and blowing your fucking brains out. So,
Yeah.
and a couple things off the start before we really got dive into it. I appreciate the fact that they didn't shy away from the violence. You should know going in, this movie is very graphic. That being said, I think it aids the film. Like I always try to say, if gore is going to be in a film, that either A, it should be a horror movie, or B, you should justify it. Like there's got to be a reason. So they're trying to elicit an emotional response from the viewers of like how absolutely horrendous this scenario is in the world that they live in this alternate universe. So they don't shy away from it. And there's another scene that's probably gonna like be like, oh man, I didn't expect that to be in this film. True to the book, They stuck to it, and wow. So, what do you got, Scorch? What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I like the movie. I thought it was fair. I don't. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. Yeah, they think this is going to get, awards or whatever. I will give it to the young actors. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
they were
those
fantastic.
guys put in the man hours. They showed, right? They
Literally.
showed their talent. I thought they did phenomenal. Kind of like Ballerina in the sense I don't think they needed Mark Hamill in this, right? He popped up every 15, 20 minutes to say a one-liner. And to be honest, I loved him as Luke back in the day, but the last time I've seen him in anything, and thought that he was good, which was a great performance, based off of the previous two movies, was Return of the Jedi, and that was the last time I thought he did it, great as far as being a physical presence in a movie. I know he's done a lot of voice acting stuff, but yeah, I just wasn't feeling him in it. They could have probably for that role picked anybody off the street, especially since while he did have a reoccurring role, he wasn't a main prominent figure, in my opinion. I think there were a few more antagonists that were in there that were amongst the kids that were more prominent to him, and that probably should have played more of that role. But the I want to say there were some long cuts, which was great. So you got to, I thought there was incredible character building in those moments. Most of the movie is them walking, talking, building the characters, getting the background, all that stuff, bonding, whatever. And those kids did it phenomenal. I'm not going to completely spoil it for you, but there was one scene in particular where one of the kids was he was getting close to that moment, and the acting in that, it made me think, I'm like, man, if I didn't know this was a movie, I thought that kid would be passing away for it because he just did a phenomenal job of selling it. But all in all, I thought it was I thought it was a fair, good movie. The ending could have been better, done a little different, tiny bit different for me, for my taste. But all in all, a good movie. I think there'll be some awards, but they really should go to the kids. Mark Hamill, got love for your brother, but yeah, stick to doing voice acting, bro.
Well, I'll say this. Sometimes you get the role because, hey, you want to be in a movie? Sure, why not? I'm not doing anything else. I don't think they picked Mark Hamill because he's Mark Hamill. It's kind of like, all right, this is what we need for the character. It's really going to be your voice that kind of carries the character because he's not a big, intimidating character, but he's got that, all right, guys, we're going to do this. Like, kind of like that motivating these
Yeah.
guys and to doing the march or whatever.
I think they
I will.
picked him because of his name, and he probably needed some money. That's where I
So
Well, I
was
he's
mean,
with
it
it.
he's
could be
actually
because he's not doing Dancing with the Stars, so you got to get the money somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
so
exactly.
he's collaborated with Stephen King material, like his last two projects. I know he just did The Life with Chuck with Tom Hiddleston. Haven't
Mhm.
seen it yet. I heard it's fantastic, and I think he did a miniseries with Mike Flanagan based on a Stephen King idea. I think I might be crossing my wires on that one, but I know he's dipping his toes more and more into like
Gotcha.
serious drama and horror. It
Yeah, because
seems.
I'll be honest. During the trail, I didn't even know it was him. Like I
No,
watched him, I'm
I
like,
actually thought it was
is that
Brian
Mark
Cox.
Hamill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right. So I kind of get it. And this movie does kind of capture you right in the beginning, right? So you got
Yeah, they don't waste time.
Ray
Yeah.
with his mom, and this is like your son's going off to war. That's kind of like what this gave. And Judy Greer did a fantastic job in
Oh
that
yeah.
just that short amount of time. You
Yeah,
felt that mother's love, dude. Like I was like, man, oh, I
especially the
was choking
second
up, man. I'm
scene.
like,
Yeah, I can
dude,
say both her scenes, she
Yeah, it was
right?
sold that
fantastic.
second one, right? That was a heart wrencher.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that
really
second one
was.
was
Yeah.
crazy. And what makes this movie, I think, um, really fantastic was there's no reason for these kids to be helping each other out. This is a competition, right? The goal is to be the last one standing. The goal is okay, if I'm the last one on this march, I get the money, I get the wish. But throughout the entire movie, everyone's helping each other. They've bonded, they formed a brotherhood in that I'll say short amount of time. Was it 6 days or something like that? Like
Yeah,
400 something mile, like a ridiculous amount of time. And and it's like that just goes to show you how quickly you can bond depending on your circumstances, right? So they just the way they sold it, the way these guys came together, I thought there would have been more of an antagonist within the group. Like one guy was like, "Oh, I'm tripping somebody," or I'm going to try to take this guy out, or kind of work against them because that's really what you're there for, kind of like Hunger Games, right? Like you form some factions where you guys are together, but for the most part, everyone should be trying to be the last one, right? But they're sacrificing themselves. So they're more like, I'm gonna take the hit. I'm gonna fall back. I just need you guys to push forward. So they're like kind of pushing each other to go forward and to be the last person standing. So when it came down between Peter and Ray, it's like, okay, man, like how are we going to end this, right? Because you didn't want either one of them to lose, and you kind of figured it's going to come down to that, right? Like you don't want
Yeah.
either one of them to lose, but ending was one of those like wow twisted endings. Like I said, my girlfriend read the book, so the ending in the book to me was like wow, that's kind of crazy. Like he supposedly sees a shadow and just continues to walk, even though he
Yep.
won. He still, is marching on. Like yeah, it's still going on. So I thought Peter was not struggling during this march. Like everyone else was having moments where like, oh my ankles, my shoes, like feet are bloody. Peter just chilling. Like he didn't seem like he struggled at any part of that march. Like no
No.
one had to really pick him up. Like he's picking everybody else up. So I was like, is this dude
Yeah.
for real? Like, what is going on with him? Is he actually a droid from Aliens that just got kind of picked for the walk and said, oh, I'm gonna do the walk, since I was just an alien. But fantastic job of acting, like you said, from these young guys. A diverse cast, which I thought was great. And it
Short
really
round.
does, yeah, like short round. Hank was in there with his gum. He said, as long as I have my gum, he's like looking at his gum.
Walking like
Oh
an old man, like
man.
he was 80.
Oh, but yeah, the I forget the character's name, but the other black actor who had the rosary beads. He's like,
It's
hey,
Yeah.
give
Tut
this to my
Noit,
grandmother.
I believe is how you pronounce his name. I can't.
What's
Yeah,
His
that?
name's Arthur Baker. The actor's name is Tut Noit.
but no, right, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you.
Man,
I'm, I'm,
that scene.
oh,
Dude,
dude,
that
yeah, absolutely.
scene. And
It's it's like a rite of passage kind of thing. I thought that specifically Johnson, I believe is how you pronounce his name,
Mhm.
from Alien Romulus. I think that dude carried this movie, man. Like he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I had heard about the ending before I went into the movie. I knew it was already different from the book. Didn't really ruin it for me. Like I was captivated, man. Like I didn't feel like that was a 2 hour movie. It was just a joy to actually just watch it. And that sounds kind of morbid now that I think about it, but like
Mm.
the actors, man, they really made you feel like for those of us that have walked really, really fucking long, really, really far with a lot of shit
Mm.
on our backs,
Yeah.
that movie kind of speaks to me, man. My damn feet hurt afterwards.
Oh,
Um, Especially when what is it, Garrity? When he loses when his shoe blows out and he's got to go
Oh, dude.
barefoot. I'm like, dude, man, it's like you're
oh,
training for fucking SFAS or
Dude,
something.
the whole time I'm like, look, take that other guy's pair of shoes that are dangling, like
right.
work out a deal or something. Yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, yeah, I was, so how you guys got to remember this, right? You're out walking and you're so tired that you fall asleep walking.
Oh yeah,
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, when that happened,
100%.
I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
ah, I
It's
know that.
possible.
That's the thing.
It's possible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
that
what
uphill
what do
part
we
was
always
tough.
say for road march? You bring a what? Extra pair of socks, extra pair of boots. And these guys, like, when would you change it? Like one guy barely had time to get a rock out of his shoe, so it's not like okay, I'm gonna stop, change my socks real quick. It's like you really don't have that amount of time. I mean, could you have
yeah,
pulled it
You'd
off?
have to plan
Probably,
it.
but not later on in that march because you're just trying to stay
Yeah.
upright. So now I'm gonna stop and change my socks. I'd have never made it. And me, honestly, right now at my condition, quarter mile, quarter mile.
What?
They'd have been
You're
taking
the
me out.
you're the runner.
Nah, bro, right.
I just don't plan
trying to
on entering the competition
trying to take
personally, but
somebody out. Oh man. But they knew it and they entered it knowing it. So at first I thought maybe it was gonna be like a shock, like, oh, okay, oh wow, I didn't know that's how they were, doing this, which would motivate me to walk even more. But the fact that they already knew that this is what happens during this march and they did it anyway, I was like, oh, okay. So this is kind of like your last ditch effort to really make anything of yourself or for your family. So these guys kind of went to this knowing it's like going to war, right? You kind of go in knowing, that the possibility of coming home is slim, you know.
Yeah, I
But
thought some people were
great
gonna
movie.
walk with him, especially when when the one guy said, "Hey, when he gets down to the last two, they allow him to, walk with you and or whatever." I was kind of expecting that, and for some reason, I thought I saw a trailer where there's some people like out, like walking beside him saying something or whatever. But I could be wrong. That I think that would have been a nice little addition. Definitely not needed, but if that last, little stretch when it's just those two, a few people out there walking with them or whatever, mom or whatever. But still, it wasn't needed. But yeah, I think that would have been good.
Yeah.
we'll say this too, as far as my closing thoughts on this. Having read the book and like I said, seen the movie, I can appreciate both endings. I can see where Garrity living at the end of the book. Spoiler alert, it's been out since '79. You haven't read it yet, and you're not going to read it, so it's not ruined. Fuck off. Um, So when Garrity lives in the book, if I remember correctly, and it's in him walking off, continuing to walk shows like the psychological break. Like he didn't come back the same person as he left. And like I said, the metaphor of it being kind of like the Vietnam conflict with the draft and guys coming home and being, messed up PTSD kind of thing. Like it was a hell of a metaphor, man. But this movie spoke to me. I really enjoyed it. I already pre-ordered the Steelbook. Super excited to check it out when it comes in. Um, Fantastic film. Can't recommend it enough. Unfortunately, this is not doing very well at the box office either.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that could be partial to the current events. Stephen King
That's
made a
true.
comment on one side of the fence, and you know how that goes. You
Yep.
make a
Fair enough.
comment, yeah, you're gonna get canceled, but blah blah blah. I'm not gonna get into it because it's not what we're about. But for me, if for those who want to see a good movie, that's an engaging movie, I would recommend it.
Yeah,
There was a
absolutely.
theater actually that had treadmills set up where you could try to walk the duration of the movie,
Yeah, I'd do that.
dude.
I'd do it in a heartbeat
Quarter mile, I'm done. Like,
just to talk shit.
get my Crocs out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do it. I'm
Yeah,
not.
no,
I'll
I'm
probably
not.
fall down and
My
break my
my
teeth on the treadmill
sciatica,
after the
the way
first
my
block.
sciatica set up. Yeah.
Although I come to the movie theater to chill.
My
I
neck
ain't
and my back.
walking.
Right? Like, yeah.
I
Hey,
walk
man,
to the theater in my car.
real quick though, before we go into recommendations for the week, we lost Robert Redford this week, man. Absolute legend, died at the age of 89, lived an incredible life. Um, you know, Talented filmmaker, director, actor. Shout out, man. Thanks for Sneakers. Thanks for The Sting. Like phenomenal, phenomenal actor.
Yeah, yeah. Rest in peace, man. I mean, definitely it made his presence known
Yeah.
on the screen. So we're losing some legends. But hopefully some are rising up to take their place.
There you go. All right,
So
recommendations of the week, guys.
I think it's over to you there,
All right,
FBR.
man.
all
All right,
right,
so
let's
keeping with the Stephen King theme, I went with 2007's The Mist. You're welcome. Hey, spoiler alert right off the bat. If you have not seen this film, absolutely stop listening to everything I'm saying right now because I promise you I'm going to fucking ruin it for you. Um, so basically, what happens is this mist descends on like a main town, small town. Thomas Jane is in this, the guy who played the Punisher in like 2003, 2004, I think. Personally, I think I loved him as the Punisher. Anyways, Stephen King book, and the town gets invaded by this mist that came off of a mountain military base. And there's creatures in the fucking mist. So the whole story is basically about the town folk that are inside the supermarket trapped, and they have to decide if they're going to try to like survive and stay inside, and they turn almost on each other almost instantaneously. It's kind of weird. Or Thomas Jane and a couple of folks and his son jump into a car, and that's probably an hour and 40 minutes into it. Spoiler alert, it does not end well. They run out of gas, they're still in the fog, and Thomas Shane's got a pew pew launcher. I don't know what YouTube requirements are. Fuck. And he only has 3 rounds. So he does the unthinkable and grants mercy, and then steps outside to let the monsters take him. And the fucking army shows up and mist clears, and you're just like, holy
the
shit, I just got
cavalry.
punched in the nuts by a cavalier. Um, it it just knocks the wind out of you, man. But what an incredible journey. I promise you, if you've not seen this movie, hopefully you're still not listening. But everyone should remember the first time they saw the mist and just the jaw drop moment that was the agony in his face, man. It's just
Yeah, dude.
incredible movie, well acted.
Like 30% of the cast of season 1 of Walking Dead is in this movie as well. I figured I'd put that out there. Like Dale, Andrea, Carol, like they're all
Yes.
in this movie. So I thought that
So
was funny.
one of our number one fans there, Jesus, in the chat, he actually just mentioned how Frank Darabont, the director of Shawshank Redemption, I believe The Green Mile, actually did The Mist, and that's when he scooped up all those actors because they're all friends of his, and he went over and became the showrunner, season 1 and 2, I
Yeah,
believe, of Walking Dead before AMC fucked up and fired him.
yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So there you go. See, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's not, what you know is
Full
who you know.
circle, man.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Scorsters, what you got, bro?
Okay, so the last and best movie that Mark Hamill was ever in, Return of the Jedi, 1982, 1983 time frame. You guys can see it on Disney Plus, Hulu, or whatever they're calling themselves these days. Man, I mean the older, I call them the original Star Wars, to me were the best. This was one of my favorites, not the favorite, but one of my favorites, and especially given that Mark Hamill, being the young Jedi, right in the early ones, he almost seemed to be kind of getting into his groove as an actor because he was new to acting, relatively speaking. But time he got to Return of the Jedi, I thought he was pretty well refined, and
Yeah.
he fell right into that role. I thought he did phenomenal, and you can't go wrong. You got like Jabba the Hutt, of course, R2 and C3PO. You got Endor, you got racers, you got everything in this, man. In
But
this
the
one,
star
and
of
it
the
was
film is the
great.
golden bikini. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, he comes in like a boss, right? He comes in front of Jabba and is just like, yeah, dude, you obviously don't know who I am, but let me help you out. And it's just phenomenal. You got sandworms, you got everything in this one. I thought it was an awesome movie and the best performance that he's ever had, on the silver screen in person for me. He was good. He was great back then. I loved it. But yeah, you guys got to check that out, man. If you haven't seen Return of the Jedi, you're missing a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: like,
It is
I
a
think
classic.
when it comes to Star Wars movies like that, you kind of get typecast, right? So,
You
what else
do.
can you
That's a
be
that's
after
fair.
your Luke
That's a fair
Skywalker?
assessment.
Right? It happened to Christopher Reeve. Like, what else can you be after your Superman? Like, people tend to try to get away from those types of roles because, yeah, everywhere you go, you're gonna be Luke Skywalker as somebody
Yeah.
else.
Look
Like,
at
no one's
Daniel
calling you
Radcliffe,
Mark
man.
Hamill; they're calling you Luke Skywalker. Especially him being, young and relatively short in stature. Like, there wasn't a
Yeah.
lot of roles for that dude. So, Luke Skywalker kind of the bread and butter and the meat and the sandwich and the lettuce. So everything, like, that dude was really kind of centered around Star Wars, and even his fame now always comes back to Star Wars. Like, what else has he acted in?
The Trickster.
Right,
What's
I've
that?
never seen it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if somebody was to
The
ask me,
Flash, man. Come on.
I would say Star Wars. Okay, he went from like one of the best movies, or definitely chains of all time, to The Flash. Okay,
Do a D-list actor.
Well,
No,
I
okay.
mean, he did
great
kind of.
job. And voice
Much love for
acting
Mark Hamill,
20
man. Let
years
me not
later.
go there.
Yeah, I
Much love for the dude, man.
tons, but
Ask the
yeah,
chat, man. Ask them what they think. Does voice acting count as acting?
All
that's
right.
not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's what he went from in person to 20 years later doing voice acting. Nah,
Hey, it's big money in
kudos to the
voice
voice
acting.
actors.
I'm
Um,
saying,
kudos to
cast
them.
the Simpsons.
He's
All
But I
right.
don't.
So
he's an
Yeah.
incredible
with
Joker,
with
man.
with that being said, my pick
Rail.
involves a jealous 1958 Plymouth Fury, and yeah, Christine,
Awesome
1983
movie.
horror film from Stephen King. This
Awesome.
movie was like,
Cipher.
who would have thought that a car could wreak that could and get that much horror into a situation? I'm like, wow, this car was just it had a personality. It was literally. It was like a jealous girlfriend, man. It really was a jealous psycho
Yep.
girlfriend that could, and he was obsessed, just as obsessed with her as she was with him, and she was like protective and everything. It gave an inanimate object like a car a soul, and that movie was just so well done. The horror of it, like
Yeah.
just feeling like a car could literally haunt you, was amazing. So this is one of those, like, what goes through Stephen King's mind when he's making these things up, man. It's just like, I'd hate to be alone with that guy going over some ideas. So like, I'm pretty sure, like, his thinking must just be so like out there.
Dark.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Christine is one of those classic horror films. If you have not seen it, it's playing on Pluto, I believe, right now. Check it out. Great old school horror film from the 80s. I mean, it's the 80s, man. Come on. That's when like all the real good horror movies are really kind of hitting their strides in the 80s, maybe early 90s.
Yeah.
But
It
definitely a
was
good film. Stephen
she was
King,
red, right? She was red and
red and white. Yeah.
generated
Yeah.
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red and white,
So
man. Beautiful car, man.
Yeah.
I forget because he also did Maximum Overdrive with Emilio
Maximum
Estevez.
Drive. Yeah. Yeah.
Is
With the
is it the same thing? The demons possess the vehicles in
like
that?
the trucks. Yeah, they were 18 wheelers, something like that, and trucks.
Okay, it's like a haunting or some shit like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Well,
It was
Christine
just
wasn't
one.
really a haunting though.
No,
No, Christine
Yeah.
was like it was like a car
both
out
of
of
these
hell,
movies.
Entity.
essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
These
Crazy.
flicks are escaping me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
I remember that one like it was yesterday. She kept popping up everywhere.
right. Like,
Okay,
what you follow me? Yeah, like an Uber. Imagine an Uber is Christine. Nah, bro. I'll catch a lift. All right. So we got something for the people today, man. Because this is like I said, a Stephen King themed show, we're gonna go with a poll. And we want you guys to pick your favorite Stephen King movie. Now, we can only give you four. So we're gonna give you, like three of our recommendations, and I'll throw another one in there. I'll start and I'll say my pick for Stephen King movie is gonna be The Green Mile. and that's
That's a good
starring
one.
Michael Clark Duncan, Tom Hanks. Uh, that movie was one of those that you really
Masterpiece.
didn't know what to expect, right? Like it has that supernatural appeal to it, where you have John Coffey, who was played by Michael Clark, the late Michael Clark Duncan, and he's kind of found in the woods holding these two precious little girls who had been unalived by some Wild Bill, which we find out later in the film. And of course, they accuse him of it, and he's on death row, and he had this ability to like heal people, right? So this was like one of God's creations that they were forced to execute. So he kind of formed, alliances with the guards that worked there. He was this big, like, gentle giant for the most part, and you have a good movie when one of the actors by the name of Doug Hutchison, who played Percy, is hated in real life. Like that dude he was a weasel in this movie.
Such a great villain, though,
And
man.
oh man,
so
oh
good.
I didn't know the sponge is supposed to be wet. I'm like, oh, you lying son of like, oh, I mean, there's no Mouseville. Like he was, all that dude was evil, man. But the movie overall is great. Another great Tom Hanks performance. Um, I like that one. If you haven't seen The Green Mile, you have to check it out. It's a classic. It's worth seeing. And if you don't know what to expect, it makes it even more of a great watch. If you read the book, obviously, you kind of know what it's about. And that's another thing too. Maybe we'll do that one day, Stephen King novels, because they are different than the movies. But The Green Mile for me was a great movie.
Yeah,
that's one of the
pick.
picks in our poll.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
So yeah, I picked Shawshank Redemption, man. Another Frank Darabont compilation. Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, William Sadler, Bob Gabin, and the always fantastic Clancy Brown, man. Probably one of his best roles as the villainous captain of the guards. Tim Robbins plays a bank manager that gets basically set up for he doesn't get framed. It's just an accidental conviction for murder of his wife and her lover. She was cheating on him, so they pinned it on him. Down the road, we find out that there's a that's going to circle back around, but he gets sent to this prison. He has a rough go of it in the beginning. Morgan Freeman is kind of like the scrounger of the prison, where he is kind of like in charge of all the finances, and he gets smuggles stuff in. He's got all the connections, so they become friends. And basically, Tim Robbins starts cooking the books for the prison. They start doing taxes. They start hiding funds for the warden, all this kind of stuff. And he ages into the role. It's just a fantastic film. And finally, he just decides he's had enough and he makes a break for it and he gets out. And the whole end scene, probably like the last 30 minutes of the film, is just beautiful, man, because like you finally see justice, rewarded or justice served. And he gets out and gets to some money and gets down to Mexico and starts working on a boat, man. And then Morgan Freeman gets paroled and he leaves him like a breadcrumb trail to get down there. It's just a beautiful film, man. I think it's on the top 100. It's probably preserved in the Smithsonian at this point in the National Archives. So I can't recommend it enough based on a Stephen King book.
Yep.
No, great. Yeah, awesome. Mine was a series of movies that came out in that was the 80s, right? 80s, 90s. Creep Show, right? Great for me. It was great. I love those. They were essentially set up like a comic book strip, right? So there were multiple scenarios and different things going on, and it would start out with kind of a freeze frame of a page in a comic, and you would get a chip from a scene in what was coming up in that episode, kind of, but it was all one continuous, a bunch of episodes together to make the movies. Just phenomenal, from a meteor landing. And funny enough, which he does apparently a lot, Stephen King was in, I think, at least one, but if not a couple of the episodes. But there was one with like a meteor landed and he played some farmer, found the meteor, wanted to sell it, touched it, and then he started turning into, essentially a plant. It was weird. But it was fun. It was great, kind of fun horror, scary kind of a thing. But yeah, great. You guys got to check those out. 1 and 2, Creepshow 1 and 2, just phenomenal.
Cool. All right, guys. So like I said, there will be a poll. There are so many Stephen King. We're not going to get everybody's favorite. There's no way we can, right? You got It, you got Pet Cemetery, Children of the Corn, Firestarter. There's just so many. There's
Skinwalkers,
Misery. Like there's so many, right? So, Secret Window, Carrie, like that dude that has
Langoliers,
endless, right?
Oh, that's so bad, dude.
So make your cases.
But it was so much
make
fun.
your cases. Go on the poll and tell us what you think should be on the list. So, like I said, check out the poll. thank you guys for joining us, man. We had a great time doing this. Had a good time watching this movie and reviewing it with you guys. So,
Hey, real quick, I do have a special. I got an alibi.
go for it.
We hit 300 subscribers.
Woo!
Nice. Thanks,
I
guys.
subscribed twice.
Thanks, man. That's awesome.
Way to go. That's what
Appreciate
I'm talking
you
about.
guys.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
300
those
guys.
bots going.
Yeah,
Those
man.
bots going.
That's almost enough
Got
for a
them bots
battalion.
going.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Beard
Thanks
War
for
Battalion.
subscribing,
All right.
hanging out with us, not leaving, not giving up hope. So yeah, we appreciate it.
And we have a good movie to recommend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
All right.
All right,
Well,
man. Thick Nick Fury out here.
Fat Bug and Rambo out here. Cheers, guys.
Scorched out of here, guys.